Should be live. Let me fix that. Alright, well, welcome in everyone. We are going to be, of course, talking about the multi day severe weather outbreak that could be happening today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Alright. So, as of day one, we have an enhanced risk. I gotta fix that. We have an enhanced risk for severe weather for Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. That does include Dallas, Paris, Oklahoma City, Norman, Tulsa, Fort Smith, Fayetteville, Harrison, Miami, Springfield, Joplin, Jefferson City, St. Louis, Mount Vernon, Mount Vernon, Greenville. So if you're anywhere in this enhanced risk, please be weather aware. And then around that, we do have a slight risk for severe weather. That's for Waco, Austin, San Antonio, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Polar Bluff, Kansas City, Lawton, Wichita Falls, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Lexington, Louisville, Elizabethtown, Evansville, and Madisonville. And then we have a marginal risk for severe weather for Richmond, Clarksville, Bowling Green, Columbus, Bloomington, Galesburg, Canton, Macomb, St. Joseph, Topeka, Wichita, Woodward, Perryton, Dalhart, uh, Amarillo. So please be weather aware if you're anywhere in the marginal, slight, or enhanced. And with the enhanced, we do have a 10% hatch risk for seeing tornadoes, possibly some strong. EF2 plus is possible today for Tulsa, Springfield, Joplin, Wargers, Ozark, Springfield, Alden. So please be weather aware. Also, right now we do have a 5% tornado risk for Oklahoma City, Norman, Harrison, West Plains, Polar Bluff, Madisonville, Owensboro, Louisville, Elizabethtown, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Petersburg, Bloomington, St. Louis, Jefferson City, and Kansas City. So please be weather aware for some brief and weak tornadoes. And around that, we do have a 2% tornado risk for Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Killeen, Round Rock, College Station, Jonesboro, Conway, Hot Springs, Portsmouth, Jackson, Lafayette, Bloomington, and Macomb. And there's two Bloomingtons. The one that's in 2% is in Illinois. I don't know why they put two Bloomingtons. Also, we do have a 30% risk for seeing winds up to 60 mile per hour plus for St. Louis, Jefferson City, Springfield, Bella Vista, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Tulsa. And then around that, we do have 15% for winds up to 60 mile per hour plus. Cincinnati, Louisville, Elizabethtown, Madisonville, Richmond, Portsmouth, Parkersburg, Charleston, Bloomington in Indiana, Jacksonville, Oklahoma City, Dallas, McKinney, I think Fort Worth is under this. Yeah, Fort Worth. Then right now we do have 5% chance for seeing winds up to 60 mile per hour plus, 60 mile per hour plus for Bowling Green, Richmond, Jamestown, Columbus, Lafayette, Bloomington in Illinois, Kansas City, Wichita, Amarillo, Austin, San Antonio, Killeen, Waco, and Tyler and Shreveport. Hey, Rope, how you doing? And then right now we do have we have a 30% hatch risk, I believe, for winds or hail up to 2-inch size plus for Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Fort Smith, Dallas, McKinney, Ada, St. Louis, Jefferson City, Springfield, Joplin, Bella Vista, Fayetteville, Effingham. So please be alert for some large hail possible. Also, we do have 15% hatch risk for seeing hail up to 2-inch size plus for Austin, Killeen, Waco, Tyler, Wichita Falls, Kansas City, Springfield, Quincy. So please be on alert. And then we do have 15% around that with hail up to 1-inch plus, so quarter size hail plus for Hart Springs, Texarkana, Little Rock, Jonesboro, West Plains, Polar Bluff. Louisville, Evansville, Madisonville, Elizabethtown, Portsmouth, Charleston, Parkersburg, Cincinnati, Dayton, Hamilton, Bloomington in Indiana, Indianapolis. So 1-inch hail is possible, and then around that we have 5% chance for seeing hail up to quarter size inch or plus for Richmond, Harrisonburg, Beckley, Pine Bluff, Shreveport, College Station's under 15, Brownsville, Wardworth, Wichita, St. Joseph, Galesburg, Bloomington, Illinois. So there's a chance for hail up to quarter size inch. Hey, Cyclone, never seen a big sig hail that big. I haven't either. This is probably one of the biggest. It's an area of 197,290 square miles. So. And then before we go check the models, we do have a day 2 enhanced risk for severe weather. This is going to be for Louisville, Lexington, Richmond, Elizabethtown, Bowling Green, Clarksville, Nashville, Murfreesboro, Huntsville, Florence, and Cookeville. Now, right now we do have a 10% risk for seeing brief and weak tornadoes for Nashville, Murfreesboro, Gallatin, Campbellsville, Somerset, and Danville. You're in that. We'll go over the models here just a sec. Hey, Bella. You could go. My dog just came in. Then around that we have 5% for seeing brief and weak tornadoes for Lexington, Elizabethtown, Louisville, Bowling Green, Clarksville, Florence, Huntsville. So Lexington, Louisville. So please be on alert. As brief and weak tornadoes could happen. And then around that we do have a 2% risk for seeing briefer and weaker tornadoes for Cincinnati, Lancaster, Charleston, Beckley, Johnson City, Knoxville, Chattanooga, Dalton, Rome, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Columbus, Toledo, Jackson. So please be on alert for also brief and weak tornadoes as possible. And then we do have 30% for winds up to 60 mile per hour plus for Lexington, Louisville, Elizabethtown, Richmond, Bowling Green, Clarksville, Gallatin, Cookeville, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Huntsville, Florence. So be on alert for 6 mile per hour plus possible. Also, right now we have a 15% for seeing winds up to 60 mile per hour plus for Evansville, Madisonville, Jackson, Tupelo, Columbus, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Gadsden, Rome, Chattanooga, Knoxville, Beckley, Charleston, Cincinnati, and Columbus. Or not Columbus. And then right now we do have 5% for seeing winds up to 60 mile per hour plus for Memphis, Jackson, Yazoo City, Hattiesburg, Natchez, Gulfport, Mobile, Montgomery, Columbus, Atlanta, Athens, Roswell, Hendersonville, Hickory, Harrisonburg, Cumberland, Morgantown, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Canton, Mansfield, Indianapolis. So be on alert for 60 mile per hour winds is possible as well. And then we have a 15% for seeing hail up to quarter size inch plus for Louisville, Cincinnati, Portsmouth, Louisville, Elizabethtown, Richmond, Madisonville, Bowling Green, Clarksville, Nashville, Murfreesboro, Knoxville, Huntsville, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Columbus, Florence. And then right now we do have a 5% chance for seeing hail up to quarter size inch plus for Pittsburgh, Morgantown, Harrisonburg, Beckley, Johnson City, Atlanta, Rome, Montgomery, Meridian, Laurel, Hattiesburg, Natchez, Jackson, Yazoo City, Greensville, Clarksdale, Memphis. And then we do have a day 3 marginal risk for severe weather for Orlando, Tampa, Palm Coast, Daytona Beach, Gainesville, Spring Hill. And then we do have a marginal risk for severe weather for Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, Richmond, Janesville Town, Virginia Beach, Well High, Kitty Hawk, Elizabeth City, Greensville, Jackson, Wilmington, Goldsboro, New Bern. So be on alert for some severe weather possible. And that is a 1 out of 5. Alright, so now let's go check the models. Let's start with the day 1 enhanced. Alright. Let me do this. Let me do this. Alright. So now the time is on the bottom left corner of the screen. This is in Eastern time. So, starting around 6 p.m., that's when we can, or 5 p.m. Central Time, that's when we can see storms initially begin to fire up near Pittsburgh. And then scroll off, we can see that it actually becomes a line of storms like immediately around 6 p.m. And then that will continue through the enhanced risk. It doesn't look like prefrontal cells are being predicted by the ARRR. Maybe some. Alright. So I'm gonna say storm starts around 5 p.m. Central, and then probably goes for around 8 a.m. Eastern. That's should when we see that threat die down. So let's check the cape. Surface-based cape, and yeah, we do have enough cape for fuel for storms to fire. And around 20 to, or 2,000 joules per kilogram, which is more than enough for, to allow these storms to become severe. Look at the NAM. See if we have some model agreement. Yeah, so the NAM also has 4 p.m. So, storm can fire. And it does look like we have some model disagreement with the ARRR and the NAM. The NAM barely shows like the line popping off. We do have enough cape though for the storms. It's a little bit less than the ARRR is predicting. Actually, the NAM shows more instability over here. And the 4,000 joules per kilogram. Yeah, so around 4,000 joules per kilogram, which is way more than enough fuel for these storms. Down here. Also, guys, we did just get a new SPC update, so I will go over that new update here in just a sec. But it doesn't really show much storms firing, because there is a little bit of a cap in place. Is a new update out on Radar Mega yet? It has. Okay. So, let me go over this new update real quick. So, we still have an hatch risk for severe weather with a 10% hatch risk for EF2 plus tornadoes possible. And now this includes St. Louis, Union, Jefferson City, Mexico, Jerseyville, Jefferson City, Eldon, Butler. So be on alert. Yeah, so they do say tornadoes, a few strong destructive hail, and damaging thunderstorm gusts are all possible. I just want to make sure they don't say anything about a possible upgrade. And I'm not seeing anything about them saying. Alright, so that is the update. So we are having some disagreements with the HRRR and NAM. So we'll see how this plays out. Let's see, is there a cap in place? There's a little bit of a cap in place, not a lot. Yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of a cap in place. That's probably why the storms are gonna be really popping off per the NAM. So we will have to see how this one does play out. Yeah, so. Alright, let's go to the day 2 now with the models. Actually, before we do, 2. Alright. So yeah, so we do get the storms to fire. Let's use A-R. Select run. 6Z. There we go. Yeah, so we do get the storms to fire. How's the cape? Convective. So right now it looks a little bit capped. Yeah, so we're gonna have a little bit of a cap in place. So that's really gonna depend if these storms are able to break through the cap and take advantage of the atmosphere or in the environment that it is in. Anticipation. So let's check the soundings around there. Why isn't that not letting me? Is it because I'm using A-R? Refresh. Probably because I'm using the A-R. Yeah. Alright, so let's check the environment out front of these storms. Get a few soundings here. Okay, so we do have a little bit of a curved photograph. Some of it's contaminated. Yeah, I do have a little bit of a cap in place. So it's honestly just gonna depend how these storms are able to go and if they're able to break through the cap. Let's check the other one. I'm not gonna bother with this one because this one has a ton of contamination. See, what you want to look for if you were looking for like contamination is this. This tells you right here that we are having some contamination happening. This one, not so much contaminated. Maybe in the upper levels, it's a little bit contaminated. But we do have a little bit of a curved photograph. Possible hazard, tornado. Don't have a lot of cap. So yeah, so it just depends of what the storms are in the environment. Yeah, it shows it storms like getting a little weak. Alright, so now let's check for this now. Check the models for this enhanced verse for day 2, which is Tuesday. So yes, the A-strip bar shows like line of storms. And then it looks like these are also going to be instant line of storms. Do have some hail with them. Let's check the lower level winds. So we have a decent amount of lower level winds. This is on 6 p.m. 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. Have lower level winds. And we do have upper level winds. So there's going to be some spin in the atmosphere for these storms to spin up and produce brief tornadoes. Sorry. The Cape, I have a little bit of Cape, 1,000 joules per kilogram. However, it is enough for storms to take advantage of. And then, let's see, check the cap. And there's not really much cap in place, so these storms uh, aren't allowed to fire if they just take advantage of the environment. And then we do see that line begin to weaken around 11 p.m. 11 or 10 p.m. East Central. So yeah, be on alert. Let's check the NAM, see if we have some model agreement. Whoops. Alright, so check the NAM, see if we have some model agreement. Again, some disagreements with the NAM and HRR. The NAM's showing storms like barely struggling. Let's check the Cape, surface based Cape. This is around 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. We do have a little bit of Cape. Lower level winds. We do have a little bit of lower level winds. So yeah, we do have spin in the atmosphere. And then cap. It's not showing a lot of cap, so we don't have cap in place really much. So we are getting agreements with the cap barely being there. Someone checked. Okay, that's for there. So like I said, we just have to wait and see how this plays out. So let's go over here. Oh yeah, this was also down for Texas. See, if some storms could fire. Around 6 p.m. And then really have a struggle. Just check the environment. It's a marginal severe threat. a little bit contaminated. But now looking here, the NAMIS shows decent line for Wednesday. Get a photograph in front of these storms. Yeah. So a little bit contaminated. However, we do have a curved photograph. Potential hazard type tornado. Barely any cap. So we could have some brief spin if possible. Definitely is possible. And then we have a decent line for Wednesday. And then let's get a photograph in front of that. Yeah, so we do have a curved photograph, a little bit contaminated, but we do have a, whoops, we do have a curved photograph, a little bit contaminated, don't have much cap. So, yeah, so we just have to wait and see how things play out. We do have some model disagreements with the day 1 and day 2. And we do also have a special weather statement for half-inch hail in Kansas. That's for Independence and Coffeyville. Yeah, so a little thunderstorm that could be producing half-inch size hail. But does anyone have any questions before we get off? Let me make sure I switch scenes. Any questions? 30 minutes. See if people have any questions. Anyone has any questions? has any questions, then I'll get off. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. A happy April Fools. And I'll see you guys in the next one.